very nice to see all of you. A very warm morning to one and all. On behalf of the entire Health Basics team, a very special welcome to the students, parents, and the faculty at Kikani Global. Today, on account of National Nutrition Week, we have a very noteworthy and interesting topic lined up with Dr. Vandana, Chief Dietitian, Sri Ramakrishna Hospital, Coimbatore, focusing on the healthy eating habits for children. Before we move into our main segment, let me introduce you to Health Basics. Health Basics is your in-school healthcare provider. We work with Sri Ramakrishna Hospital to bring you the best on-site school health program. Please check out the app www.healthbasics.com and use our free doctor consultation, concierge service, and multiple benefits at partner hospitals. With no further ado, let me invite Dr. Vandana to take over the show. Dr. Vandana, over to you.
Thank you, Kavita. And it is a very good morning to all the students who are assembled here for this interesting topic. As part of Nutrition Week celebrations, it is really a great note to have you all here. And first of all, to introduce the theme of this year is feeding right from the start. So we are starting with children, which is a very good thing. And when they become young adults, it will be very useful knowing the nutrition right from the beginning itself. And I would like to thank our management, Swati Madam, and all our support staff for helping this to do happen this again. And let us start with the presentation. And the topic is quite interesting. It is healthy eating habits for children. And to start with, actually, health, we all assume that health is nothing but absence of disease. It is not so like that. Actually, health is a complete mental, physical, social well-being, and it is not only absence of disease. So you should take it in the right sense. And next one is, what is healthy diet? Actually, healthy diet is a complete balance of carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins, and everything in a right proportion. And a good diet, normally it should include all the food groups, because any single food group will not cater the required nutrition for the children. And actually, we talk a lot about balanced diet. Balanced diet is nothing but a healthy eating. Balanced diet or good diet means assuming right proportion of all food groups. And you all know what is a food group. Many would have been studying this in your thing. Like main food groups, we have whole grains. It is nothing but your cereals, vegetables, legumes, fruits, dairy, and nuts and oil seeds. Next is the food pyramid. See, in food pyramid, we are normally, for adults, we have all the nutrients, what to eat and things like that. Actually, see, the main thing is your recreation, laughing, playing, reading, drawing, dancing, and everything comes the major role. And next comes your cereals. Cereals is the regular rice and whatever things you have. And it is vegetables and fruits next. Ahead of your cereals, next comes the vegetables, fruits. And third is your vegetarian foods, pulses. Pulses is your protein content food, dairy. And the less eaten foods would be the red meat like beef and mutton, and it is the fried items. Next, you all will be knowing there are two nutrients, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are the nutrients like carbohydrates, protein, fat, and this provides energy. And micronutrients are the one from vitamins and minerals. We have this micronutrients, and it doesn't provide you any energy, but this is very, very important because every cell undergoes damage, and from the damage we get all the toxic materials, and these micronutrients are very much essential for the body to resist against infections. Coming to the main thing, protein, everyone will be hearing about protein rich foods. Other protein is very good for health. So what does the protein do for your body? It is the one food when you consume, it will break down for energy. And this energy will help to build the body cells, and it will help you to fight against infections, and it will carry oxygen to the body. And main protein rich foods is all your parupu vagaigal, all the dal, your non-vegetarian foods, nuts, and dairy products contain most of the protein in it. And there are good quality protein, high quality, which means your non-vegetarian protein gives you high quality, which is of high biological value. The next one is carbohydrate. Nowadays, the trend is like cut the carbohydrate so that you can reduce your weight or whatever it is. But it is like balance. We have spoken about balanced diet. We should have everything in a right proportion. Carbohydrates are the main important source of the energy, and it means like the body helps to use fat and proteins from carbohydrates help for building and repairing tissues. Generally, carbohydrates come in different from sources like your whole grains. It is from your potato, sweet potato, tapiocos.
Dr. Vandana, just 1 second, please. Students, I would please request you not to use any writing mode on the screen. This is very distractive for for the doctor, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. And coming to fats, again, it is a general misconception that fat is not needed. Everything is needed because as children, you need fat, carbohydrate, protein, everything in a balanced proportion. And this fat, normally, you know, it comes from oils, it comes from non-vegetarian foods and nuts and whole milk products. And another important nutrient which is necessary is calcium. Calcium, again, we know only it is necessary for healthy bones and teeth. But it is not only for bones and teeth, it is also important for blood clotting, nerve function, muscle, heart, everything. For every function, we need calcium. And high levels of calcium is present in all the green leafy vegetables. It is present in milk, it is present in egg yolks, and also soya milk, which is of less importance here, but it also contains soya milk, and the paneer, which is made from soya, is called as tofu, and it also has high level of calcium in it. The next nutrient is micronutrient is iron, because without iron, without good hemoglobin, you cannot have a healthy lifestyle. So it is very, very important for the individual to have a good level of hemoglobin, which is developed by consuming enough iron-rich foods. And iron-rich foods, like you know, it is of all, again, non-vegetarian foods, all sprouted dal, molakatna pairu, and it is of your dates, it is of your nuts, it is of raisins, figs, and all those stuff. And it is very, very important for every individual to have enough amount of iron-rich foods. And next is folate. Folate, generally it is spoken in the pre-pregnancy period, but it is not like that. Folate is very much essential right from the beginning. So children need this for the growth and development of each and individual cell of the body. And deficiency of this folate will definitely cause anemia, and it gives more powerful learning also. So folate is present in all, just you can remember that it is present in all whole grains and all protein-rich foods. Also, it is present in your kale varieties. Next is fiber. Generally, we talk, fiber is of greater concern nowadays because we, as like westernized world nowadays, the cancer prevalence is more in India, and less intake of fiber causes this. But this fiber, when you take enough, it causes bowel regularity, and it is also reducing the chance of diabetes, heart disease, and any blood coagulation diseases and cancer in later stages of life. So right from the beginning of your childhood itself, you should have more of fiber, and it is abundantly present in all green leafy vegetables, your country vegetables, naattu kaigarigal, like your avaraka, peerkanga, vaalatandu. All these stuff has more of fibers, which is of, the children generally don't take these foods, but it is very much essential for them to take right from the childhood itself. And next is vitamin A. Everyone would have seen that papali, sapta, vitamin A is good, something like that. But it is very much essential for the skin health. It is for the eye health also. Your adaptability to colors and things like that is very much essential for this vitamin A. If you take enough amount of vitamin A, it will help you. And it helps in growth and prevents infection also. Carrots, cabbages, and sweet potatoes, sakkaravalli kilangu, all apricots, fish oils, egg yolks, all this gives you vitamin A. Any yellow, orange fruit or vegetable gives you more of vitamin A. Next is vitamin C. Vitamin C is the main factor for wound healing. When children fall down, if you have enough amount of vitamin C, the wound healing will be faster. But not only that, when generally it is a misconception again that when you have orange juice during your cold, it is you should not have it, you'll catch cold. It is not at all like that. Vitamin C is the one nutrient which helps you to fight against common cold. It is very much essential. It has nothing to do with your infections. It helps to heal off the infections, heal body wounds, and also it strengthens the blood vessel walls, and it is very much important for bones and teeth. Generally, citrus fruits are rich in vitamin C. Strawberries, tomatoes, melons, papayas, mangoes, and even your green chilies has more of vitamin C. And a sample meal plan like morning day can be started with milk or protein drink like some badam powder, homemade badam powder mixed with milk, and it can be a normal idli, dosa, whatever we have. It is not necessary to go for breakfast cereal and all. Whatever we do at home for everyone can be the child's breakfast. And I have listed some accompaniments also along with it. And mid morning, see, after breakfast, after 2 hours of the food, definitely any child should have something in between so that there is no erosion of the gastrointestinal tract because of acidity problem in later stages of life. So any soup or fruit or tender coconut water or any sprouts porridge will help them. And lunch will be a vegetable rice or a dal rice with, if the baby is, child is non-vegetarian, then non-vegetarian foods can be accompanied, or a normal dal will do. The sprouted dal will be more helpful. Evening can be a salad, sundal or boiled peanuts or paniyaram, and any other snack item which is of healthy snack. And dinner can be same like breakfast, but see to that you have little early dinner so that the food get digested before you sleep. And bedtime milk, many children they have this habit of having milk, and that can be had. And this is the most important topic, like significance of breakfast, because many of us, even adults and children, don't take the breakfast. It is breaking the fast, and that whole night you don't have anything, and you're breaking the fast, which is very, very important. It is the main food. Like they used to tell, eat like a king in the breakfast. So it is the refueling food. And when the children go for test, whatever it is, if they skip their breakfast, the memory recall will be very less and they'll be low in energy. Actually speaking, the main breakfast only will give you it will help us to meet the daily nutrient requirements, and it will help us to concentrate better in life, and you will have good problem solving skills. And for small children, like their hand and eye coordination, they need proper energy concentration, which will be had by having breakfast, and it will make us be alert. If you don't have your breakfast by the afternoon itself, you'll feel very tired, and it helps us to be more active also. The next one, yes, is it okay to skip a meal? No, and never is the caution. Because there are people who skip their breakfast to lose the weight, but definitely it is not like that. You may lose, it will be of muscle loss rather than fat loss, and definitely there will be a catch in later stages of life. And you could run low in nutrients because you don't have proper breakfast. What happens? You will run low in nutrients, your infection gets more, your risk for diseases also increases, and you are likely to make up the missed meal with junk food. What happens if you don't have the breakfast? Normally what takes, we have hunger pangs around 4 to 7 in the evening. Generally the kid or adult, whomsoever it is, they tend to take more food, that too they are craving for junk foods. And it has been, a study has been conducted, and it is found that 31% of people who have this skip this breakfast have more junk foods between the timings of 4 to 7 p.m. And causes of poor nutrition, against anxiety, stress. Nowadays it is inevitable even for the children. Because of this lockdown, children become stressed up attending online classes, and they become anxious. And see, there are chances of increased eating, increased emotional eating. Snacking pattern has become like, earlier it was like they come evening, they come home and have snacks. Now it is like they have frequently snacks anytime they are at home. So it becomes like that. And there is a diet guide like Go Slow Go. Go foods. See, any food which is low in fat, sugar, and calories, are called as Go Foods, and they are nutritionally very dense. All your fruits, vegetables, whole grains, pulses, these foods are low in fat, sugar, and calories, but they are nutritionally dense, and you can eat anytime. And slow foods is like that. Those foods are high in fat. They have added sugar, calories, like your white bread, pancakes, and canned foods, fruits. All these things are slow foods. Like they can eat them less often. In Go Foods, you can go for multigrain breads and fibrous breads. And OF foods, very high, they are very high in fat, and they have more added sugar, calories, all your candies, sodas, French fries, packet chips, etc. are OF foods. Once in a while, very rarely you can have that in less portions. Next is we have a diet guide like eat adequate calories, and you should not overfeed the children, and any child should be physically active for at least 60 minutes a day. Normally, you refrain from all refined flour like maida and go for whole grains, because as we were speaking about fiber, this whole grain helps to get more fiber, and a variety of fruits and vegetables are mandate for the day. And each meal, try to have in between your breakfast and lunch and dinner, you can have fruit or vegetables. Even with the main course also, you can have that. And for non-vegetarian food, if you're interested, you can have fish, which is a good source of omega-3 fatty acid. And any child, please make sure that you have dairy products, either milk or curd or whatever it is, in the recommended portion. And the next guide is, see, the parents should make sure that the calorie intake and portion sizes match to their child's age and activity. Using of healthy ingredients and healthy cooking, like normally frying is not advised. Rather than you can go for shallow frying, grilling or breaking or steaming, which is the healthy way of cooking. And normally children, you go with your parents for shopping and see to that how your mom prepares your food, and try to have food with them, with your parents, and limiting TV hours to few, say one, even less than done is good, because it helps you to avoid snacking pattern. And reasons for poor intake in the children from 1 to 6 years, they are more playful, they're more active, and they are addicted by TV, they are influenced by media, and more of skipping meals of their meals is there when it comes to high school children, like 10 and above, and they are getting aversion of eating home food, because they feel like going out means they are happy, and eating home food becomes difficult for them always. So this is all reason for poor food intake. And inadequate physical activity, staying in the bed, attending online classes, no physical activity, again is a reason for the poor intake. And peer influence, like whatever your friend eats, you feel like eating that is a bad habit actually, which also becomes a reason for poor intake. And hormonal imbalance, these are all health related reasons, like obesity again plays a role. And puberty changes the children. A girl who is into 11 to 13 and 14 years, they have mood swings, irritability, which causes them to have less food. And educational stress, again during this pandemic, it has become like they don't have playful activities, always dumped in computers, so that becomes a problem for them, and food intake becomes less. And insomnia, this is generally in adults but very less frequent happening in children. And this impact of children's poor nutrition has more on the health, like malnourishment. This malnourishment is either obesity or underweight. Either the child eats more or less, because when the child is not having proper food, it becomes like they become pale or lethargic, and they have dental problem also, dental caries, and tooth decays happen. Poor physical and growth and development happens, because proper nutrition is not taking place in them. Nutritional deficiencies also occur, because iron deficiency, anemia is common, folic acid is becoming deficiency if you don't have proper food. And improper bowel habits, if the child is not having proper food, definitely that child may get constipation, which becomes a great problem for them, and they get irritated. And when you don't have proper food, as I mentioned about skipping breakfast also, your memory and concentration becomes very poor, and you don't tend to sleep well. Physical appearances changes. Some will become overweight, some will become muscle wasting will be there, they will become very thin. And PCOS are very common in the adolescent girls, and hair fall. If you don't eat proper food and proper nutrition is not there, you'll have an unhealthy skin tone. Pigmentations will start coming in the young age itself. Gastric problems are there. I have seen many small children having gastritis even at the age of 6 and 7 because they don't eat proper food, and it becomes a young age gastritis, which causes a serious health issue in the later stages of life. And definitely, if the child skips food, if it is not eating properly of all the food groups, definitely there are chances of infections. Please make sure that you have oranges or any other citrus fruits, sweet lime, etc., every day to prevent infections. And there'll be a generalized weakness. Here comes your daily allowance of how much the body weight should be there for the different age groups. Starting from 4 to 6, we have a body weight of 19, and the energy requirement is somewhere around 1700. Fat is 25, and protein is 30. And for age group 7 to 9, it is 26.9 and approximately 2000 calories, and the fat is the same, and protein becomes 41. And the next age group is 10 to 12, where the boys and girls have different requirements. Boys have to have the 2190 calories, and fat remains the same for both boys and girls, and protein ranges from 54 for boys and 57 for girls. In this age, the protein requirement for girls is a little bit on the higher side, and comes 13 to 15 years. For boys, the calorie requirement becomes more, approximately 450 calories, 2450 for boys. Fat remains the same for the all age groups, and protein requirement becomes more because the growth and development in this age becomes more. So the need for body building becomes more. And for girls, it is 65, and calories is 2000. And 16 to 18 years, like your higher secondary school, the need will be much more higher. For boys, it is 2640, and protein like more than 1 gram per kg body weight will come approximately 1.1 or 1.2. Girls is also the same, 2000 calories, and the need is also 63 grams of protein. So let us see the common nutritional deficiency. The main deficiency which occurs in children is the vitamin D deficiency, because nowadays children don't play in natural sunlight. They don't go out. They're constrained to one place. That too, for the past 2 years, they're not at all exposed to sunlight. Exposure to sunlight is the main source of vitamin D, and the requirement is 600 IU. And the main food for vitamin D is your milk products, eggs, and non-vegetarian foods. Some vegetarians can have vitamin D fortified juices. Even your Glucon D also has this vitamin D enriched. And next one is iron deficiency. The iron deficiency level ranges from 12 to 15 for boys and girls. And when the age grows up to 11 and 18, it becomes 12 to 17. So this definitely leads to anemia. Every cell of your body needs iron for transporting the oxygen to the blood cells. So your RBC, when your RBC, red blood cells, hope you have all studied about that, it needs more of hemoglobin, otherwise you'll become anemic. When you become anemic, there will be lots of hair fall, your nail will change, your nail will become spoon shaped and things like that. You will feel exhausted, you will not be able to study well. So this is very, very important. And iron, mainly you should remember green leafy vegetable. Your kiri has more of iron. Daily have dates in your diet, dried foods like nuts you can have, and things like that. Foods rich in vitamin C plays a major role, because it is not enough if you have only iron rich foods, because the body needs vitamin C for absorbing the iron which is got from the food. So vitamin C rich foods is very much essential, and we have seen what are all the vitamin C rich foods, mainly citrus fruits, broccoli, tomatoes, and all strawberries. Whatever you like, you can have it. And coming to calcium deficiency, again, we're speaking about calcium. It is mainly important for your bone strength. If you don't have calcium in the childhood, definitely you will feel very weak in the when you come to middle age. You will not be able to walk. You'll have fractures. You would have seen your grandmas feeling difficult. So please take enough calcium in your diet. And for children from 4 to 8 years, the requirement is 1000 milligram, and for 9 to 8 years, it is 1300. Again, your green leafy vegetable kirai, which you don't tend to have, is very, very important. And all the ragi and your drumstick leaves, milk, cheese, all your dairy products also supplies the essential calcium. And next comes the grave problem, which is obesity. If the BMI is more than 30, that too in your childhood, it becomes a very big problem. Later stages of life, there are many health issues which is going to happen. So please take care of that. Overeating and physical inactivity is the main reason. And there are other reasons like genetics, overeating, consumption of carbohydrate, and physical inactivity, medications, metabolism problems is there. So please make sure that you're physically active. At least that helps you. Next is, if you don't maintain your weight in the young age, you are having a problem of all these disease conditions in the later stages of life. So what to do? You have to have a timetable or a small diary. Whatever you eat, just make a note. Try to have more of fruits and vegetables in your diet. Definitely, children can play. You can play shuttle or you can play cricket or whatever it is. Make sure that you are active, you play, and change your lifestyle. Don't use the lifts. Many children nowadays, even the adults climb the stairs, but children go in a lift. So make sure that you don't do that. Coming to underweight, again, it is if your BMI is less than 18.5, you become underweight. And it is mainly because of the quantity and quality of food what you eat and many other health reasons. See, there are certain psychological disorders like anorexia and bulimia. Bulimia is nothing but eating everything and vomiting so that you feel that you will become thin. And anorexia is like you feel that you are way overweight, you should not have food and things like that. That is not the right way. So ultimately, one fine day you become underweight and you are prone to get more infections. And eating food in regular intervals and chew your food properly, have good quality and quantity of food at right intervals. What are all the healthy eating habits? Let us discuss about what is healthy eating. You should the parents can make the healthier food in a much tastier way, like modify the preparation method, cooking and eating together. Like nowadays, we don't have the practice of eating together, but it helps us to have a very good healthy eating habit. And diverse diet. See, an example for this diverse diet would be, you can add some fruits, you can add some vegetables like cucumber, tomato, onions, and put some sprouted dal to your bowl of salad. So it becomes it becomes balanced diet, and that helps to fight against your immune system also. And you should try to leave junk foods, which is very, very important. Once in a while, a rare occasion can be okay, but not regular. Limit sugar, salt, and fat intake. Consume more fiber in your diet, and healthy snacks and healthy vegetables can be had. We'll have a list of healthy snacks, which is in the end of the presentation. And don't eat while you're watching TV. And in this pandemic, the physical activity of the child is very less. So see to that the extra calories, extra food intake should be cut down, and only the necessary food should be taken. And we can just see how can we have this habits, make a routine. Like it is having a healthy breakfast, the first one, not skipping that. Having a proper portion size, not overeating, not undereating, and drinking water, plenty of water. Literally, you can drink 2 to 3 liters of water, because if you play more, you'll sweat more, and that needs also, it become dehydration. So drink plenty of water, and sugary drinks should be avoided. Once in a while only it is advised. And make sure that you have a regular habit of studying a time, working out for a time, sleeping at certain hours. There is a rhythm called as circadian rhythm in a body. So once you sleep every day by 9 o'clock, then the next day for 3-4 days, if you do that, then it becomes a cycle. Then the next day automatically you will sleep. Same way your hunger pangs also. If you fix up a time, then it is easy for your body to adapt to the system also. So you will not be having infections frequently. And wash your hands with soap at least 20 seconds before and after food handling. And you have to do exercise from the childhood, play, come out. At least you can wear masks and play in front of your house with your friends. And emotional quotient. Nowadays, many children tell that they are getting stressed, but there is no reason for you to get stressed because there are parents to take care of all your needs. Only thing you have to be happy always, which gives you good mental health. And you'll have to have a quality sleep of at least 8 hours, minimum 8 hours, so that your memory gets intact, your immune system is good. You will not be obese because when you don't sleep properly, also you have hormonal imbalance happening. And again, screen time should be very much limited, and children can have good time with their friends. You can share time with your family also. And natural foods, again, don't go for less packaged food, very less packaged food, because we have wide range of healthy foods available in our house. No need for natural foods, sorry, artificial foods. And personal hygiene, your nails should be clean, you should bathe properly, because if you have any infection, your nails are not cleaned properly, definitely you are prone to get infections, which becomes a problem. And you have to get dewormed every 6 months, because that again is important. Otherwise, the chances for anemia is also more. And we have many healthy choices of food. See the junk foods, whatever is available, and I have given the healthy food sources. For French fries, you can go for spring rolls and baked French vegetable fries. And for candies, all your chocolates, you can go for your Katla Barfi, Ellurundai, and all the dark chocolates, things like that. Carbonated beverages again is not good for health. You can go for tender coconut water, you can go for good soups, fresh juices, milkshakes, which is prepared at home, is all good. Don't sweets and pastries. Again, you have that Sattuma Urundai, which is prepared by your grandma, which is very good. And pizza, maybe once in a while. Instead, you can go for some vegetable rolls and paniyarams like stuff, and puffs, packets, chips. Again, millet-based foods. You can have kebabs, you can have curd vadas, park vadas. All these things give you good nutrition. Instead of white bread, start having whole wheat bread or multigrain bread, because the chemical used for bleaching this flour becoming white is not good for the health. It is called as allantoin. It causes diabetes in later stages of life in few individuals. Please be careful. And canned foods, please avoid. You can go for freshly prepared foods. Always go for whole grain foods like brown rice, millets, siridhaniam. All the stuff is very good. And here are few lists of healthy foods like your kebab, chana chat, vadais, groundnut chickpeas, dark chocolates, your nelakadlai, masala peanut is good, and coconut milk pudding, tomato soup, and all the soup varieties. Cutlets can be prepared instead of deep fried, it can be prepared on dosa tawa, shallow fried. You have many other sandwiches, paneer tikkas, everything. All the list is very good for your health. Oats bar can be had. The normal food like poli, poha is nothing but your aval. Even lemon seasoned aval, you can have vegetable poha, and pakodas with palak is very good. Add greens for every. If you don't have like to have direct greens, you can put it in some other food and have. Almonds is very good. And you let us see the safe food habits, like you have to clean your hands. You ask your mother to keep a separate knife for cut board for cutting cooked and raw food, also for veg and non-veg. You have to cook the food thoroughly, wash the food in running water. Always the food should be either kept under 5 degrees centigrade or above 60 degrees centigrade. Directly removing from fridge and heating is not good. It has to come to room temperature, and then only you will have to cook the food. And always use safe water, purified water for chutney preparations and all those things. You can have the purified or hot water, which is in room temperature. So clean, separate, cook at right temperature, and refrigerate properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. It's a very highly insightful presentation. There's so much to nutrition that we've all learned this morning. Um, we now move on to a little Q&A session that we have for you, Doctor. Parents, please note that you will have the opportunity to raise your questions on the chat bar after this Q&A session. So, Doctor, if you're ready, we talk. We've had quite a few questions and we've had some very interesting answers. Could you shed a little more light on how meals should be spread out through the day for children? I know you shared a chart with us, but anything on that you can, so because it's a lot of irregular intervals and things like that, how should it be spread out through the day?
Yes, Kavita. Actually, this is a very good question because we normally assume that 3 meals per day is normally what we have. It is not at all like that because we can have early morning. The child can have something like a milk or whatever they would like to have. Apart from that, the breakfast, regular breakfast, and after 2 to 3 hours, say if the child is having the breakfast by 8 o'clock, again the break time like 11 o'clock, they can have some fruits or vegetables or salads mixed of all this, or some sprouted dal or sundal, or something in between, so that it gives them the nutrition. Even a small kadla barfi or a handful of nuts or some little poha or something, so that they'll not feel hungry for the next meal. And next comes the lunch. A lunch should be a normal South Indian meal, whatever we are having. No, that is very good because it has your rice, dal, it has your vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So it is a balanced food. Even you have curd as a source of fat, dal as a source of your protein, and vegetables as source of the micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. So it becomes a very good balanced diet. And once the child ends his or her class, it will be like evening 4 o'clock. Again, some healthy snack. If for non-vegetarian, they can have even an omelette or some even a main meal, even an idli or dosa at that time would be helpful. Not the regular some fried stuffs like always going for mixture and murgu and things like that and puffs. So we can have healthy snacks like sundal, some sort of nutritive balls or something which is prepared, even a sweet like a holi. It is also good because it has dal, it has carbohydrate, it has oil in it. So some healthy snacks, and dinner can be like 7:30, so that the child can sleep early. And before sleeping, they can have, if they are interested, they can have a milk or some fruit so that they can sleep well. That is how it can be distributed.
Great. Thank you for that. Now, I think it's gotten very common that children don't have a very natural appetite. So parents like us try to force feed and try to make sure that the child gets, even if it's a snack or whatever, a fried snack, we want the child to just eat something. So, what is your take on force eating or reprimanding children for not eating food?
Definitely, this is a wrong version because any child, when you force to eat them, they will get aversion towards food. It is not at all right way. We can encourage them eating. We should not force them eating. Make foods which is like whatever they like can be made healthier. They can modify the preparation method or some way so that they start liking their food. Forceful eating is not at all good because in later stages of life they will never touch that food. Nowadays, children are very adamant. So when you force them, they'll not take it in the right sense.
Absolutely. And on that note, is are supplements good for the child if the child isn't eating well? So if it's a span of time that the child hasn't eaten properly a nutritious meal, or it's taking a longer time for the child to get accustomed to these, new recipes or whatever the parent is trying, is it okay to add in supplement food?
Actually, the theme of this nutrition week itself, feeding right from the start. So I generally don't recommend supplements because once the child is healthy, why do you need to go for artificial supplements? Because everything is naturally available. Only from the source they are extracting it and they are giving. Any branded product, even a multinational product also, when the child has that one tumbler of that drink, one glass of that health drink, what happens? It gives them the calories. That is not. I don't deny that. But what happens? Their stomach will become full. Say they skip their regular food, whatever is encouraged to have. Now earlier it was like we our grandmas and people were ancestors were having all the millets and all healthy foods. Now the next generation we went for all westernized culture. Now we are getting the same food, paying more. So it is not essential if the child is having any health issues and there are major nutritional gaps for which a supplement is essential. In that case, we can have that supplement. Otherwise, it is not a mandate for them to have supplements.
So only the doctor's advice.
Yeah.
Could you help with some tips to improve a child's appetite?
Child's appetite is make them physically active. Once the child plays well, it's not sitting in the same place, just lying in the bed and attending the classes. That becomes a, what to say, a sedentary lifestyle. From the childhood itself, it becomes a habit. So they have to play well, fix a time. That's what I was telling. A routine habit should be fixed. A standard time for eating, a standard time for reading, a standard time for playing, a standard time for exercising. So this regular habit makes them more active. So normally the appetite gets more.
Okay. And I think last question from my end would be, I mean, are there any interesting recipes? I know you gave us a nice list of, a long list of very interesting items to give to our children. But how do you build that relationship between food and healthy eating with your children? You know, how do you make them love the food that they eat?
Actually, first point, nowadays what the parents do while coming from work, they go for purchasing food items and whatever it is. Children will be playing at home or whatever it is. So you take the children with you, along with you, so that they'll see what are all the foods available. You can make them aware that this food is good for the health. You can show them the nutrition labels on it, and they can see all the colorful vegetables and fruits and how attractive it is being displayed. If you go to many shops like Palamudra and all, they'll be exhibiting in a very good manner. So first one is shopping with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is when they are preparing. See, it is not necessary for the child to be on TV. They can stand with the mother, chat something, they can talk so that they see how it is being prepared, the flavor. This all gives them an interest towards food. Then it is very, very essential, according to me, to dine with the family. Because once you are, say, the child eats in its own time, the father eats in his own time. So what happens? The family bond doesn't happen. So everyone should sit together. They can talk their routine, like their day-to-day activities, so that the father can or mother can tell the importance of food. Like while they're talking itself, some other topic they can make it as a habit. So when the father or mother is eating some nutritious food, say if they eat kire and all, the child also, you take little. See, we are older. You can take little. Something like that. They can encourage the children.
Positive influence.
Can make them eat better.
Great. Okay. So I think this is something that we all have to start trying if we haven't begun yet. Thank you so much, Dr. Vandana. That was a very informative Q&A session. Parents, we've now come to the end of our Q&A. However, we are still open to questions. So please feel free to add your queries on the chat bar for Dr. Vandana to have a look and answer one by one. Dr. Vandana, are you able to see the some of the questions that are coming in?
Not able to see, actually. Okay.
Okay. I think Mr. Gohan.
Read out.
Yeah. So I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
So hi, one small question. I have a 1-year-old kid. When she has corn and pomegranate, she is not chewing it properly. So it comes.
1-year kid not chewing pomegranate and corn. Yeah, definitely in that age group, you have to cook it well or mash it and give, because there are chances of aspiration if the child doesn't chew it well. So either it can be blended and pomegranate can be made like a juice and filtered and given if it is not, if the baby is not able to chew it properly.
Okay. And the next thing is these days the vegetables. That's also a very fair point. The vegetables are not really good. I mean, it's not always that people have their hands on organic food. So the plenty of chemicals are mixed up. So one of the parents are asking what would be the solution for that.
See, we can. It is in India. We are getting both organic and normal vegetables, whatever is available in the market. But we cannot keep on insisting that only organic foods are better, because it depends upon the buying capability of the individual also. Because nowadays organic foods become more costly. So the better way is wash your vegetables under tap water. Wash. You can even soak. Put a basin, put all the fruits or vegetables, soak it for a while. Then again, you can wash it with tap water, so that whatever chemicals like to go off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything about brain foods? One Miss Aditya is asking us about brain food.
Brain food is nothing but your folic acid, your hemoglobin developing foods like iron rich foods. All these foods, your yellow orange vegetables, fruits, green leafy vegetables, your eggs, all the dairy products, everything plays a major role in brain development.
Okay. Does eczema? There's a particular student who has eczema. Is there anything related to food and eczema?
No, like allergies vary among individuals. It is not like, see, I may have an allergy towards cucumber, you may have an allergy towards buttermilk. It is not like same for everyone. You'll have to consult a dermatologist to find out which is the allergic food to you. That's a 24-hour test. Like for the past 24 hours, if you have had any food and that is causing you allergy, the next time also you'll have to check. And if any food is particularly causing you allergy, then you can avoid food. A better answer would be given by a dermatologist.
Sure. It's self-monitoring for eczema, right? If you
Yeah, that's no specific food for eczema.
Okay. We have one, Mr. Satya. Ma'am, my child is 10 years old, but her weight and height are of 15-year girl's growth. Not giving junk food, her BMI is normal. Is it good or not?
Actually, for a 12-year girl, it is 15 years growth, right?
10-year-old girl.
10 year, yeah, yeah, okay. So if you have not given any junk food, see to that if the child is active, if she does her exercise regularly, sleeping pattern also plays a major role actually. So all these, if it is all correct, then you have to consult an endocrinologist and see if the hormone level is there any imbalance, or if at all, then you can go for that, and make sure that you give her a proper food in proper intervals, physically active, sleeping at regular time, and also no stress of that she is being overweight or things like that.
Right. We have another interesting question of why we should fold and sit our legs when eating. Why do they say that's good?
Pardon me, I didn't get you.
Why should we fold our legs, sit down and eat? Why do they say that's good?
Okay. Actually, these are age-old practices, because when you nowadays even they sleep and they lie on bed and eat, because there's a proper position you bend, so your stomach has the gap to fill, and when it is filled, you feel that okay. Beyond this, you will it is okay. Not over. You'll not overfeed. Also, again, bending also is an exercise like sitting. It is a Padmasana position, so it is good actually.
Okay. We have dry fruits is not something that one of the children are eating. So what would you recommend, or how is it possible to make them eat dry fruits?
Dry fruits.
Dry fruits, yes.
Dry fruits, yeah. Dry fruits, you see, when you prepare a salad or something like that, in that you can add a handful of dry fruits, like raisins you can add, and dates also. You can make it into small pieces, like shred it into smaller particles, and you can mix it and eat. Even your dosa or idli, whatever you prepare, you cut it and put it inside, and you can give. When you prepare fruits or something like smoothies or something like that, you can add and blend it.
Sure. One Miss Ms. Neelambigai mentions that, hello ma'am, your presentation was very informative. When my kid was 4 years old, it did my kid is about 4 years old, but does not come under the weight of your chart, and she's underweight, but he's extremely active. So anything, I think this is a very common question that people have. Oh, he's so thin, she's so thin, but and underweight, he looks under the malnutrition, but actually they're very active. Their metabolic rates are very high. So what do you talk about? What would you say about that?
Actually, see, when the child is active, you needn't worry about the weight because it plays a major role. Even genetics plays a major role for the child being underweight also. If the child is active, doing all the regular activities like playing and things like that, you need not bother about it. See to that he or she has the food properly. If not having food, then we'll have to consider. Otherwise, it is not a big issue.
Okay. Just a few more questions, parents. We have to round up. I have quite a few here. In the COVID situation, just like adults, even for kids, we are suggested to give vitamin C and zinc supplements. What's your opinion on the same, and whether such specific supplements for kids are available in the market?
Actually, this question would be ideally answered by a pediatrician. But then, as a nutritionist, I could say, see, we had lots of COVID patients in our hospital, and we did, doctors were giving all supplements as they were mentioning. But the natural source, what I would suggest is you can prepare a herbal drink, like all using all your culinary herbs like ginger, turmeric, and your seeragam, cumin seeds, or you boil it, crush it and boil it. Then once it comes, one glass comes, say 200 ml comes to 100 ml, you can squeeze a piece of lemon over it. So that becomes a herbal drink, which has all antioxidants, antibacterial thing, and it also clears off your throat also. So that is good. That can be had twice a day. And your natural sources, your again and again, I'm telling, insisting on citrus fruits. It is very good. All your kire you can give. A protein-rich diet is also very good. So zinc and protein is available in your non-vegetarian food. Even your tofu, your paneer, natural sources are better. See how long you'll be having supplements. It is not going to end now, or we don't know what is the status. So better to go for natural foods. If needed, you can get a specific advice from a pediatrician. But as per my opinion, it is not needed.
Not required. I think we've come to the end of the parents and the chats as well, and all of their questions. Would you like to add anything else, Dr. Vandana, or can we round up now?
Actually, take the points, whatever I have discussed in this session, because few takeaway points would be shopping with the children, dining with the children, make them physically active, let them not have the stress that they are sitting and inside a house, let them play well, be safe, eat healthy.
I think keeping children involved in our daily routine is very, very essential. I think we all get so busy with our own workloads and home and office and things like that, that we tend to sometimes neglect that a bond is required. So I think you really put across it very, very well. And parents, I hope this has been an extremely useful session and brought about a sea change in your outlook towards children's nutrition. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this Monday morning. Once again, please log on to www.healthbasics.com. We are in partnership with Sri Ramakrishna Hospital. Please feel free to explore the benefits that the app offers. And we really look forward to seeing you all on the app and hoping that it will help in the future as well. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Kavita, and thank you all children for patient listening. Thank you.